Why are all these things happening with silver? And why is China going around the world and buying up all the silver in unrefined form so it doesn't reflect the price? Why is India importing 700 million ounces from the West over the last 2.5 years and 1.5 billion from UAE here this year? They just decreased their import duty by over half, which will be a massive bullish match underneath the fuse here for the price of silver and gold. So yeah, I don't know where it goes, but I will tell you it should be a whole hell of a lot higher based upon the amount of demand I've seen in the past 3 or 4 years, which has been 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 times higher than gold. For the last 3 years, almost all of our business was in silver, and we had 3 record years in a row.
According to an article published by the Jerusalem Post, surging demand coupled with declining mine output could have far-reaching implications for markets, investors, and industries reliant on the precious metal. Industrial demand for silver set a record of 654.4 million ounces in 2023, and it is expected to hit new highs this year. According to the Silver Institute, ongoing structural gains from green economy applications underpinned this surge in silver demand. Owner of Miles Franklin, AndySchectman, warns that surging industrial demand could make silver scarce by 2025, especially with military demand often overlooked. Regarding the ongoing trend of China's and India's aggressive silver buying, Schectman predicts rising prices due to increased demand, especially after India's recent import duty cut. India imported a record 4,172 metric tons of silver from January to April, up from 455 tons in the same period a year ago, said a government official, who declined to be named as he was not authorized to talk to the media. Despite ongoing market suppression of silver, Schectman warns that it can't last forever, as rising interest rates may trigger a financial reset, potentially leading to hyperinflation. Based on fundamentals, Schectman suggests that revaluing gold to $20,000 per ounce, as proposed by some officials, could inject trillions into the U.S. Treasury. Given past market behavior, he predicts this move could drive gold prices even higher, reaching $120,000 per ounce, as such dramatic increases are ultimately realistic. If the U.S. government had full control over what it had long claimed, a reserve of 8,133 tons of gold and gold revaluation could also support the creation of a lot of money. Gold researcher Jan Nieuwenhuis has noted for months that many governments and central banks recognize the money creation potential of gold revaluation and provide for it explicitly with gold revaluation accounts. Now we present the clips of AndySchectman's insights from his recent interview. Before we continue to delve into this discussion, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
You have people coming out, the Silver Institute, people coming out and saying that you could see silver literally because of industrial demand increasing the way that it is by 2025 be almost unavailable because it's increasing globally so much. And these are the people who don't even put military into their numbers. This is why they're holding down. And maybe this is why the U.S. Mint for 3 years hardly delivered any silver eagles. Maybe they understand what's happening. Maybe they were stockpiling silver for strategic needs instead and at the expense of the U.S. Mint. I don't know. Why are all these things happening with silver? And why is China going around the world and buying up all the silver in unrefined form so it doesn't reflect the price? Why is India importing 700 million ounces from the West over the last 2.5 years and 1.5 billion from UAE here this year? Why? They just decreased their import duty by over half, which will be a massive bullish match underneath the fuse here for the price of silver and gold. So yeah, I don't know where it goes, but I will tell you it should be a whole hell of a lot higher based upon the amount of demand I've seen in the past 3 or 4 years, which has been 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 times higher than gold. For the last 3 years, almost all of our business was in silver, and we had 3 record years in a row. So it is being suppressed, but you can only suppress a market over a very long period of time by pushing it in the direction it's going. My whole career, no one wanted this crap. They just wanted stocks, bonds, U.S. real estate. And why not? With interest rates going straight down for 40 years, it presented the greatest opportunity in traditional assets the world will ever see. And they try to raise rates. Look what happens to Japan. They tried to do it in the UK. Their pensions start to blow up. They try to do it here, and the banks start to blow up. We're all trapped. So that's got to reset. And so I've been saying the Fed could reset by inflate. They could reset by default. They could reset by finding a villain. That's the path I've chosen for 3 years, where You sign an executive order to go green. You weaponize the dollar. The world views you as being hypocritical, but you can weaponize the dollar against Russia, steal $5 billion in their assets, and ironically give it to the military-industrial complex who needs silver cheap in order to make weapons to give to the Ukraine, the country they're in a war against. Or you can do option number 4. That would incite the world to dump dollars, and the dollars dump. And as all of those dollars, if every country in the world has had to stockpile them for 50 years and they no longer need to, they all come and hit our shore and create hyperinflation. And the byproduct is interest rates that go parabolic, because you can't have 30% inflation and 5% interest rates. If that happens, everything blows up. Stocks, bonds, real estate, the banks, the insurance companies. Option 4 is something that you're hearing more and more and more about, and that is to revalue the price of gold. The head of the Dutch National Bank has been saying it for over a year. And now you have this Bitcoin conference in Tennessee where Trump spoke. Right after Trump spoke, a senator named Loomis from Wyoming came out and said, we should do this. We should fund a strategic Bitcoin account for the United States by revaluing the Federal Reserve's gold, right? Gold is valued in the United States at $42.22 an ounce on the Fed's balance sheet. And in the rest of the world, it's at $35 an ounce, the Bretton Woods number. And the head of the Dutch National Bank keeps saying, we can't access this gold right now. But guess what? It's in something called the revaluation account on every balance sheet. So they revalue gold at $20,000 an ounce. If they made it that high, I think it'll go much higher than that if they really want to do it. But at $20,000 an ounce, it would be in the best interest of every single central bank on the planet who all owns gold. But if they raised it to $20,000 an ounce with the 260 some million ounces that we have, that would put $5 trillion in the Treasury General account free and clear. And you know how easy it is for them to do this? All Janet needs to do is tell, hey, Jerome, and doesn't need congressional approval, just jack up the price to 20,000. And that's what it is. And $5 trillion is deposited in the Treasury account just like that. But there are people that are doing the math that would say in order to pay off, because we have a $35 trillion debt, $5 trillion is only what? Nowhere near that. That doesn't take into account the 150 in unfunded liabilities. So put gold at 120,000 an ounce. Is that crazy? How much more crazy is it than saying Bitcoin can go to 1 million? Why does everyone say that's okay, but gold at 120,000, that's a joke? Is it more of a joke than saying the Dow Jones would go from 2,100 to 40,000 or nearly? In 1997, that would have been a joke.
AndySchectman warns that the LBMA is facing its lowest silver levels in 140 years, as global players are using the West's market manipulation against it. Viewing silver as a strategic metal vital for military and industrial use, he is concerned about ongoing price manipulation by major banks, which could lead to a financial collapse or severe losses for hedge funds. Combined silver in LBMA vaults and ETFs can be considered the above-ground, free-floating inventory of silver, currently about 1.5 billion ounces, which may be lower due to possible double counting. According to LBMA estimates, the cumulative demand draw to balance the silver market by 2030 will exceed 2 billion ounces. Within a few years, we will be heading toward a silver squeeze, and we can expect prices to rise. Renowned analysts, including Schectman, point out that BRICS nations are increasingly demanding physical delivery of silver, hence shifting the market's power to exchanges in Shanghai, Moscow, and Dubai. He mentions that the West's ignorance about silver's true value enables this ongoing manipulation, but warns that this situation cannot last indefinitely. Let's get back to the interview.
And then we'll be done with this. And that next slide is what's happening. That's the LBMA, the London Bullion Metals Association. Its lowest level of silver in 140 years in the history of the exchange, because the rest of the world, the reason they're not bitching is because they're using it against us. It's jiu-jitsu. You use your opponent's leverage against them. And that's exactly what they're doing. Not only is this not reported, it's not reported because the media has been hiding it from us. The Western elite have been hiding it from us forever. Suppress gold and silver because what they represent is the canary in the mine shaft. They are not commodities the way we're supposed to believe. They are a direct inverse relationship to the system. Now, silver has massive industrial applications. In fact, it should be a strategic metal, not an industrial, because you need it in military, because you need it in digital, because you need it in green, because you need it in electronics. All of these things, you need it. This is what the rest of the world is doing right now, using our stupidity against us. So sure, you want to short the hell out of a commodity, concentrated, by 8 stupid banks, then the rest of the world will say, super, that's fantastic. Thank you for delivery. I appreciate it very much. This game will end badly for these banks. This is something that is happening, and the commercial banks have been holding down the price of gold and silver to support the illusion of strength of currency, strength of bond market, stability of a nation and of a system, and to support the military-industrial complex. That all works until the rest of the world becomes motivated, sophisticated, wealthy, coordinated, and says, this is how we beat the West. We don't beat them by getting into a hot war. We beat them by draining the exchanges of their strategic commodities, using their stupidity of shorting the price, which these exchanges allow for delivery. No one ever used to stand for delivery, never. Maybe 1% or less most of my career, which is over 3 decades long. No one stood for delivery. Now they are. And that's what you're seeing right here. Just whoop, that's all delivery off the LBMA. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your price is stupid. Thank you. Your price is stupid. Thank you. And then when no one else will sell at those stupid prices, guess what? You'll see the exchanges be rendered a scam, a Bernie Madoff. This is a Ponzi scheme. And you know, the LBMA, they admit to trading 292 million ounces of silver per day. You see they have 800 million ounces right there. 500 million they say belong to the ETFs. They say that. So that means they have 300 million. So they're trading 292 million a day, but they say those numbers are 10 times understated because they only post the final settlement numbers, not all the trades it took to get there. They say it's about 10 times understated. Okay, so they're trading 2.9 billion ounces of silver per day on the LBMA. They only got 300 million to back it, but they're trading 10 times as much, which is 3.5 times annual global mine supply. Mm-hmm. And COMEX, silver is rehypothecated, meaning that same contract is sold to you, 1,600% right now. Why are 8 banks short the way that they are? Why are we allowing this to happen? And the sophistication, coordination, determination, wealth, and all of the things combined of the BRICS nations and these countries who used to be third world but aren't anymore, this is why silver has not gone up, because they're using it against us. And guess what? Over the past roughly 4 months, the combined volume in the Shanghai Gold Exchange and the Shanghai Futures Exchange is up over 200%, and it has now surpassed the volume of the COMEX. And the Shanghai Gold Exchange is now the number 2 most heavily traded exchange on the planet. And the Shanghai Gold Exchange has silver price $4 an ounce higher than it does in the West. This is called arbitrage, where all the idiots who will buy in the West and deliver in China will do so. What if they made it $40 higher or $50 higher? Or $100 higher? That is the price. And we will see price move from the Bernie Madoff scam of the West to Shanghai, to Moscow, to Dubai, and all of these places that people think, oh, geez, we wouldn't trust them. Well, who the hell trusts us anymore? And those nations are the ones who produce and accumulate and use all of these commodities. So the West has no idea about silver. Most of the people who aren't watching this show, and you all understand silver, drop a silver eagle on someone's foot and they won't even know what it is that hit them. And that's why they're able to pull this off, because no one understands what the hell is really important and what the hell is really going on.
As the global dynamics around silver continue to evolve, the market will likely face significant shifts in the coming years. According to analysts, silver requires exceptional conditions like rising inflation or an extreme shortage to increase to $100, which might not be its endpoint once it clears all-time highs. Could we be on the brink of a silver squeeze that reshapes the global financial landscape? And are we prepared for the potential fallout? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to support our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the next video.